LCJ Live. We're live. It's Saturday, December 14, 2024. Hope you're doing well. And we want to get you these numbers today because it's a very, very interesting weekend at the box office. And then next weekend, of course, these two come in and just destroy the box office. Blockbusters ahead with Mufasa and Sonic. But this weekend is really interesting because I thought both of these films would do okay, and they're not doing exceptionally well. It's Kraven the Hunter and The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. We'll talk about that and more. Send in your questions and your comments if you're watching here live on the Saturday edition. Thank you. Send in your questions, your comments. We'll talk about all of this. Plus, the Blue Bloods series finale was last night. Did you watch it? I did. I'll have my thoughts on that. The Golden Globe nominations, the Critics' Choice nominations. We couldn't wait till Sunday to break all this down. Had to do it here, Saturday edition of LCJ Live. So, your leader at the Friday box office is Moana 2. No surprise, it's been leading the Fridays and the Saturdays and the Sundays. Now, Wicked's been doing well during the week because kids are in school, and Wicked skews a little older than the young kids who are going to see Moana 2. But we've got Moana 2 leading Friday, $6 million. It's at $316.9 million total for Disney. That's very good. It's already passed what the original did, which was $249 back in 2016. Now, will it get to the $652 million heights of Inside Out 2? Probably not. I think Moana 2 is slowing down. And of course, when Mufasa comes into theaters in just a few days, it'll really bring those families in and the Disney fans in. But putting Moana 2 in theaters was such a smart move from Bob Iger and the folks at Disney, and 316.9, they will take it. But right behind Moana 2 at the Friday box office is Wicked with another $5.8 million. It's at 342.4. I finally watched Wicked close to a week ago. I finally screened it. I'd been waiting, and this was the last film I saw before I submitted my Critics' Choice Awards nominations ballot. And Wicked, I like. I don't think the movie is phenomenal, but I appreciate it. I get it. I saw the show about a decade ago. I didn't love the show. This is part one of the show in this movie. I like the performances. Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, the direction. It's a little too overwhelming at times. I like the quieter aspects of Wicked much more. Some of the songs and the dance numbers, it's a little too much to handle. And I do think there is a period early on to the middle of it that could have been cut, but they didn't want to cut any of the songs. But it does drag a little bit. They're at that university a little too long. But there is a section in the middle of the film where Erivo and Grande have this dance, and there's no dialogue, and it's pretty emotional. And John M. Chu, the director, does these kind of sweeping camera motions, but subtle. And there's this moment where Erivo is crying, and you just feel the power of these two friends understanding each other, and especially for Erivo's character, understanding what it means when someone else gets you. That's a pivotal moment in the movie, and I think a moment that's going to speak to a lot of people, and so I really like that. That's one of the cinema highlights of the year, along with Demi Moore in The Substance. That scene in front of the mirror, that is a cinema highlight of the year. I'm thrilled that The Substance is doing as well as it's been doing. I don't think that's a perfect movie either, but Demi Moore deserves those nominations. Margaret Qualley and the movie and the direction getting a lot of attention this award season. So Wicked's at 342.4. It's past Oppenheimer to be the biggest Universal movie that's not Fast and Furious, not Jurassic, and not Illumination ever for the studio. Wicked Part 2 comes out now a little less than a year. So Kraven the Hunter, wow, this thing just flopped. Already, 4.7 million after a combined Thursday, Friday. It did 2 million Thursday. So it only did $2.7 million yesterday. That's horrible. If I were to make a guess on the weekend total, I would do, let's see, 2.7. I'm trying to do some quick math. It's about 8 million. You're looking at $10, $11 million. This is a horrible opening weekend for Kraven the Hunter. Might do a little better today, but this is going to be like 10, 11, 12 million. I don't think it's going to get to 15. This is really bad. This is worse than Madam Web opening weekend. And I think it's a worse movie than Madam Web. I saw Kraven the Hunter Thursday. It's just plain. It's just ordinary. Even with the rhino, those scenes aren't even fun. It's very basic. It's very by the numbers. And the ultra-violent action, the themes it's going for, Russell Crowe is better in a movie called The Exorcism that came out earlier this year. A lot of people hated that movie. I enjoyed it. I got what it wanted to do enough. Watch The Exorcism if you have not yet. It's a much better Russell Crowe movie than this. He was also in a film called Land of Bad from earlier this year. I like that movie more than this. Kraven, the Hunter. Just, we got to stop with these movies of trying to put in the Spider-Verse universe live action. We don't need all this. Just focus on the animation. Focus on the Tom Holland core saga. These spin-offs have not been working. Venom. I mean, that last Venom movie was fun, but in a bad way. So there you go. Next up, Gladiator 2. Gladiator 2 actually made more money than Lord of the Rings. We'll talk about that in a second. Gladiator 2 did $2.2 million, $140.3 million for Paramount. It is now the biggest Paramount movie of the year. It finally passed A Quiet Place Day 1 to become the biggest Paramount release of the year, but Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is on its way to try to take Gladiator 2 down. Eric Digliomini, thanks for being here on the Saturday edition. I think Sony's giving up after this. Yeah. Saw Canada last night. I think you'd enjoy it. Slower paced Paul Schrader, Rumination of Death and Memory. Hope you get a chance to see. I have seen some of Paul Schrader's movies in recent years. The Card Counter I wanted to be great, but it wasn't. I liked the Oscar Isaac character, but everything that happened didn't work for me. And then I saw Master Gardener, which was the one with Joel Edgerton and Sigourney Weaver, and I thought that was pretty messy. But I am a fan of First Reformed. First Reformed is a strong movie. I might get a chance to see O Canada at some point soon. I've heard good things, so now this is good as well. And Richard Gere stars in that. So far, a limited release on that. Let's see. So Gladiator's your winner for Paramount so far. Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, 625,000 Thursday. It added about 1.4 million yesterday. That's just $2 million. Wow. Only $2 million for Lord of the Rings. A $5 million weekend, maybe. This is disappointing. And it's too bad, because I like the film. And I thought the Lord of the Rings fandom would accept this and appreciate it and get into it. But we're not seeing that here, which is too bad. You know, it's anime, it's action, it's fantasy, it's heroism. It's what you want out of a Lord of the Rings movie. Yes, it's in hand-drawn animated form, but you got to accept that. You got to understand that, and it's pretty cool. So it's too bad, but I do have a conversation with the director, Kenji Kamiyama. It's at animationscoop.com. We talk about the snow, how he creates some of these sequences is pretty amazing. So check that out at animationscoop.com. I hope that this finds an audience. It's surprising. I thought this would do a lot better than this. And then the re-release of Interstellar, which doubled its theater count from 165 to 321. Pretty much doubled. 990,000 yesterday, and it's up to $9.5 million for the re-release of a 10-year-old movie in IMAX. That's pretty good. Theaters and IMAX love that. We don't have the money on Red One, but that's going to stay in the top 10 for the weekend, along with Push for the Rule Part 2. Y2K dropped big, just 224,000 yesterday. It's only at 3.3 million for A24. Queer in 460 theaters did 227,000 yesterday for A24. In this expansion, it's up to 1.4 million. Daniel Craig is a Golden Globe and Critics' Choice nominee. I'll have a few thoughts on Globes and Critics' Choice here in a minute. Also, don't have the money yet on the second weekend of For King and Countries of Drummer Boy Christmas. And the best Christmas pageant ever, which yesterday officially became the highest grossing Lionsgate movie of 2024. It passed The Strangers Chapter 1. The best Christmas pageant ever is Lionsgate's biggest movie of 2024. September 5, one of the absolute best movies of the year, Golden Globe nominee for Best Picture Drama, Critics' Choice nominee for Original Screenplay and Editing. It should have been up for picture as well. Opened in 7 theaters yesterday to $25,000. That's a $3,600 per screen average. I'd like to see it, I'd like to see it get to a $10,000, $12,000 per screen average for the entire weekend. We'll see if that happens. It expands nationwide Jan 17. That's Oscar nomination day. This is a long play for Paramount. I hope people see it. I hope you check it out. It was the Regal Monday Mystery Movie on Monday. If you saw it, hope you tell your friends. Go see September 5 when it comes to a theater near you. And we don't have the money yet for Nickel Boys, which is in 2 theaters in New York City. I think that's the only theaters it's in so far. It goes to Los Angeles next weekend, but it's in 2 theaters in New York City and keeps going wide. That is a Golden Globe nominee for Best Picture Drama, Critics' Choice nominee for Best Picture, I believe director as well, and Anjanou Ellis-Taylor is nominated for Best Supporting Actress. I like Nickel Boys. I don't think it 100% works. It is a little too long. It's 220. It feels it, but it is unique cinematography and the look of it and the feel of it. I don't know if particularly, the characters, you start to get a vibe when you see this point of view of, are the characters supposed to be looking in the camera? Are they not? What are we supposed to be fully experiencing? I don't know if it fully works. I don't think it fully works, but I understand it. It is different. It is unique. There is some power to the story. And Anjanou Ellis-Taylor, she's been one of the best actresses in the last several years when you talk about films like King Richard and this and Origin, which not a lot of people saw, and she gave a great performance in Origin. So Nickel Boys goes to more theaters next weekend, and then I believe goes nationwide in early January. If you're just joining us here on the special Saturday edition of LCJ Live, did you watch the Blue Bloods series finale last night? I did. I liked it. Tom Selleck, all out with that performance in that final episode, with the emotion, with the speeches, with the dinner table scene at the end, which Blue Bloods is known for. It leaves after 15 years on the air for CBS. Almost 300 episodes, I think. Wow, 300 episodes of Blue Bloods. It was on Friday nights at 10. Pretty much that entire run. If it was Friday at 10, you're watching Blue Bloods on CBS, and now it's gone. And it was still one of the biggest shows on TV. And you can tell in the interviews, Donnie Wahlberg and Tom Selleck are still mad as heck that CBS has canceled the show. Even though I guess they took a pay cut, they don't understand why it's canceled when it's still delivering the numbers that it is. It must be a money thing. There must be other factors. But what a show. What a run. And it ends after 15 years on the air. I like that finale. There was some drama. There was some intensity. And Tom Selleck, final episode for Blue Bloods. He went all out with that performance. As I mentioned, Mufasa and Sonic come out this weekend. By the way, it's older Simba / Mufasa. If you watched The Floor on Fox about a week ago, there was an issue in the Disney round of it with Disney characters where they put up the wrong thing. It was the character was an older Simba, and they made the contestant identify older Simba as Mufasa. And now people on social media have been going crazy. So that's why I have that Pez here. Along with Sonic, they're both going to do really well. They may have slow-ish opening weekends. They'll do well, but next weekend is interesting because it's the final weekend before Christmas, and a lot of people are going to be shopping. Speaking of which, My Very Rocky Christmas. Get it on Amazon. Get it for your family this holiday season. A lot of people are going to be shopping, and so some families may go to Mufasa and Sonic. Kids will be out of school after Friday and may want to see one or two of these right away, but a lot of families are going to say, let's wait till the 26th. And I think from the 26th on, through New Year's, through that whole weekend, these two are going to do gigantic numbers. You're talking 10 million each a day, possibly, or more for these two films. So if people come out next weekend with headlines that say, oh, Mufasa and Sonic are underperforming, wait. Take a breath. Understand that a lot of families have a lot of other things to do next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before Christmas. And then theaters get ready. But theaters may need to get ready right away. Who do you have taking the weekend? Keanu as Shadow has me leaning towards Sonic. A lot of people are saying Mufasa's not going to do well. I think Mufasa is going to do very well. I think Sonic's going to skew a little older because of the fan base of the Sonic video game and the first two movies. I think it's going to be more neck and neck than a lot of people think. I really think it's a battle. I think a lot of families will go to Mufasa. There's also a lot of older people with that Lion King nostalgia who will want to see this and be curious versus maybe Sonic. It's interesting. Like Sonic could be the 25 to 45 age range. And then Mufasa could get some of that 60-plus demo even without kids or grandkids. So that's going to be really interesting. I think it's going to be closer. If I had to give the edge, I'm still feeling Mufasa, but maybe Sonic because it did have a $72 million open. But watch out for Disney. Look what Moana 2 just did. So this is going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle out of the gate, but it's really also going to be a battle during the week and during the weekends, Christmas to New Year's and beyond. Also opening next weekend, Homestead, which I think comes out Wednesday. The latest from Angel Studios, one more release for them for the year. Limited release, The Brutalist, 3 hours and 20 minutes long, plus an intermission. I saw The Brutalist a couple weeks ago. Not a huge fan of the film. It's an interesting section in the middle as we get into the building, the architecture. It's a little interesting. I don't find the characters extraordinary. I don't find the filmmaking extraordinary. It is too long. That first hour is a slog. And I don't think there's anything much exceptional about it. It's not extraordinary. The arc isn't extraordinary. And there's no scene that I really remember from it where I go, wow, that was powerful. That means something. No, it's kind of average. That's The Brutalist, but it's going to have a huge per theater average next weekend for sure. And in select theaters, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, nominated for Best Animated Feature at Critics' Choice and Golden Globes. It's going to be an Oscar nominee as well. I love this new Wallace and Gromit. My conversation with Nick Park and Merlin Crossingham, lcj.podbean.com and animationscoop.com. And you'll get more as well with Dream Productions, the new Inside Out series on Disney+. Nami Melamad is the composer. I talk with her at animationscoop.com and lcj.podbean.com. Watch that show on Disney+. The Brutalist is the Golden Globe and Critics' Choice Best Picture nominee as well. Leading the way for the Globes, Emilia Perez with 10 nominations. And with 11 each at Critics' Choice, Conclave and Wicked lead the way. When we're talking about animated feature, Moana 2 is up for the Globe, but the other 5 are the 5 that I think will be the Oscar nominees. Flow, Memoir of a Snail, The Wild Robot, Inside Out 2, and Wallace and Gromit. If anything else tries to sneak in at this point, it would be a surprise. Piece by Piece, I would have loved to see get in, along with Transformers 1, but that did not happen. I thought they both had a shot at Critics' Choice, but we went with the 5 based on the votes. The 5 that I think will be the Oscar nominees. And we'll see what happens with the voting of the main show. I vote for the winners of Critics' Choice just after New Year's Day. And the Golden Globes, Sunday, Jan 5 on CBS. Critics' Choice, Sunday, Jan 12 on E! All right. I think that does it for today's episode of LCJ Live, the special Saturday edition. Thank you for watching. We'll be back. It should be next Sunday. So that'd be December 22nd. We'll be back with the results of Mufasa versus Sonic, or as I like to call it, Mufasonic, the new double. If you thought Glickid was fun, Mufasonic. Get ready for that. And of course, if you're looking for a great holiday gift for the family, My Very Rocky Christmas. Available on Amazon. Get it for your family. Wonderful story based on true events from my childhood about picking out the perfect Christmas tree and meeting Rocky the Rock. And this, everyone, is the giant stuffed animal version of Rocky the Rock. Yes, here's Rocky. Both sides of Rocky the Rock. If you're looking for a great gift, buy a copy of the book. Support real Christmas trees, because it goes to the Plant a Billion Trees campaign from the Nature Conservancy, part of the proceeds. Support Christmas trees. Support that tradition. Have a great holiday season with your family. We'll be back with more next Sunday, December 22nd at noon, unless I decide to do it earlier. So keep it to YouTube, youtube.com/lightscamerajackson. Get those notifications, turn them on, like this video, subscribe, go to lights-camera-jackson.com, X at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at lightscamjackson. Follow Rocky on Instagram at My Very Rocky. Thanks for being here for today's episode of LCJ Live. Have a good weekend, and I'll be seeing Mufasa and Sonic at some point soon as well. Keep it to my socials for my thoughts on those, and eventually my 10 best list for the year and some more surprises and fun before the end of 2024. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.